Sal Demilio. Did I say it right? Sal Demilio,
Yes.
your comedy
Yes.
minute.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
I
Sal.
tell you what, I'm going to tell two stories,
Okay.
and then I'm going to tell a brand new joke
Okay. Go ahead.
that I wrote today, and
Okay.
I'll try it later. It'll be the first time
Okay.
ever done. Anyway, my two stories, because we were talking off air. I want to tell you my one of my best comedy gigs, and then one of my worst comedy gigs.
Okay.
Um, One of my best comedy gigs. I'll do the worst one first.
Whatever you
So
want.
you mentioned it earlier. I've done a lot of corporate shows. One of the shows sometimes you have to do are golf outings,
Yeah.
where everybody golfs during the day, and then at night they do a comedy show for everybody that golfed. Everybody has dinner, and then you kind of got to go up after that. Well, you live in Philadelphia.
Just that. Yeah. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So for people listening this that know Detroit, there used to be a DJ, very famous DJ in town here, and his name was Mark Andrews, and he passed away unfortunately. He was a little person. I don't want to use the wrong term these days.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't. I guess you can't use midget anymore, but he's a little person and very famous, and he's on the radio. And I'm doing this gig, and it's for actually Mark Ridley from Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, and we were playing golf, and he goes, "Hey, by the way, Mark Andrews and a lot of his friends are going to be at the show tonight, so you can't do any don't do any midget jokes or anything like that." I just kind of looked at him. I said, I don't have any of those kind of jokes in my act. I
Right.
don't even have to
Right.
worry about it. So we finished the round. Everybody's done eating. There's probably 300 people in this thing. And Mark Andrews is sitting in the front row with a bunch of his friends. And I started doing my act. And this was when I was young. I used to do this joke when I was young that I have an Italian mother. And when I was 25 and single, she wanted me to marry an Italian girl so bad. But then I was in my late 30s and I wasn't still married. So my mom didn't care if I brought home an albino dwarf, and that's the joke. And I just didn't even think about it being a little person joke. So I spit that joke out, and as I'm saying it, I know what I'm doing, and I'm like, and in my back of my mind, I'm like, oh fuck, like I just told when Mark told me not to tell.
Albino dwarf.
And Mark Andrews is in the front row again with like 30 other little people around him, and he raises his hand. The crowd really doesn't laugh. They didn't really laugh. Some of the people laughed, but Mark Andrews holds up his hand and he goes, "I know an albino dwarf," meaning I know an albino dwarf that you can date, which was hilarious, and it kind of turned the moment around, and it kind of made it okay to tell that joke at that moment because everybody laughed at his response. So that was kind of an embarrassing moment. And I used to
Okay.
tell the joke on stage, and I'd be like, I felt this tall after I said the joke, and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Do the favorite. Do the favorite. We're gonna run out of time. Do the favorite.
Okay. So my favorite story is we mentioned him earlier. I got a chance to open up for Louis Anderson,
Right.
and Louis Anderson was just so great. I opened up for him at the Opera House in Traverse City. Didn't meet him until 5 minutes before I was going up on stage, and he's like, go over your act real quick. And I'm like, I sent you my video. He's like, yeah, well, just go over the bullet points of your set. So I start naming all my bullet points, and I came up to mom, and he goes, don't do your mom jokes. I talk about my mom the whole set. So I said, no problem, Louie. I won't do any mom jokes. Literally went out on stage, did about 15, 20 minutes. Before the show, he had told me to just walk off the stage after you introduce me. Don't wait for me because it takes me so long to get to the stage or to get to the mic. So I said, no problem. I do my 15 minutes. Probably had one of the best sets I've ever had literally in my entire life with his
Right.
audience. And I walk off stage. He gets to the mic and he goes, hey, come back, Sal. That was great. And he makes me come all the way back to him, puts his arm around me, and he just tells his audience, he goes, wasn't this guy great? And then just treated me like a king. And then after the show, gives me his number. He goes, hey, I really like your Italian stuff, and I want you to call me in a couple weeks. I want to go over some stuff with you. So I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, should I call him? And one Sunday morning, I'm sitting having coffee out on my balcony. I just said, hell with it. I'm calling him. So I call him at 9 a.m. and he's like, hey, it's 6 a.m. Vegas time. call me like in a couple hours. And anyway, long story short, I ended up talking to him for like an hour, and it ended up being the last time I talked to him because a couple years later he passed away. But
Yeah.
one of the best to ever do it, and
Yeah.
that's probably my greatest
Sure.
comedy accomplishment was opening up for
Absolutely.
him. So